Hey everyone, welcome to the Everyday Human podcast. My name is Easton Taverna. Each day I'll share a reflection written by me and inspired by literature, poetry, music, movies, video games, and more. And after that, I'll share a prompt for you to write your own reflection. Together, we'll explore what it means to be human. Every month, we'll walk a new path, taking a look at life, death, the universe, and everything in between. Thanks for coming along. I'm glad you're here. For more, visit eastontaverna.com or join me on Instagram at _everydayhuman. Family tragedy or family joke? That's the title of today's Everyday Human reflection. Hey everyone, it is July 24th. I hope you're doing well. Today we draw inspiration from a quote by George Bernard Shaw. He was an Irish playwright. Now, for this quote, I've seen it attributed to his first novel, Immaturity. However, I am not certain of that. I've also seen it said that he was writing this about his own personal life. It could be that the two are true. I don't have a copy of Immaturity, nor have I read it. So it may be from the novel, and he may have drawn on his own personal experiences while writing this passage and the novel, which I believe he did. So anyhow, I thought I'd just throw that out there as a little heads up. Part of the fun of making this book and writing these was doing the research around the quotes, and the writers or the creators, the artists, whoever. But sometimes you hit a wall, and there are so many misattributed quotes out there, or just completely made up ones, or heavily edited and watered down versions of quotes. So it goes. All right, let's get on to it. Here's the quote. "The institution of the family, which is the center of reverence for carefully brought up children, was just the opposite for me. In a large family, there are always a few skeletons in the cupboard. And in my father's clan, there were many uncles and aunts and cousins. Consequently, many cupboards. Consequently, some skeletons. Our own particular skeleton was my father's drunkenness. It was combined with a harmlessness and a humaneness, which made him the least formidable of men. So that it was impossible for him to impress his children in the manner that makes awe and dread almost an instinct with some children. It is much to his credit that he was incapable of deliberately practicing any such impressiveness, drunk or sober. But unfortunately, the drunkenness was so humiliating that it would have been unendurable if we had not taken refuge in laughter. It had to be either a family tragedy or a family joke, and it was on the whole a healthy instinct that decided us to get what ribald fun was possible out of it. Which, however, was very little indeed. If Noah had made a habit of drinking, his sons would soon have worn out the pious solicitude which they display on the occasion of his single lapse from sobriety. All right, and here is my reflection. 1 of 10. My father was smack dab in the middle of a good old-fashioned Irish Catholic New York family, which might explain a fair amount. Years later, that led to there being around 25 cousins or so, give or take, at family parties on his side. Throw partners into the mix. At that point, my Uncle Paul had died tragically in a motorcycle accident, and that's another 9 adults on top of it all. So let's say, totaling it up, you have 25 kids, 18 adults, and 2 grandparents, making one big, happy-ish family. Can't have that many people get together and there not be any skeletons in the cupboards. At the risk of this book turning into a memoir, I won't get into the details of those skeletons, the ones that I know of, anyway. You've already heard plenty about my father's. But it serves a point. You can't find a perfect family because families are made up of humans, and no human is perfect. Therefore, no family can be perfect. If you've ever found one, you're either lying or being lied to. This is the reality of it. And those skeletons come in all shapes and sizes and degrees of horribleness. Some bad, some worse, some worst. So, what do you do about it? Do you try to stuff it down deep? Keep the secrets safe and bury that skeleton in the sump behind the house in the woods? I think you know the outcome of this option. That thing will stick its rotting, maggot-eaten hands and head through the dirt, dragging itself back out into the light and the open air for all to see and try to take you down with it. Or do you turn that tragedy into a joke? It doesn't have to be a ha-ha so funny joke, because rarely are any of the skeletons actually funny. No, what we're talking about here is taking that skeleton and looking it dead in its dead eyes and saying, I know what you are. I know what you did. I know your family, my family, and I can't escape you. But I'm not trying to anymore. Instead, I'm learning from you. I'm learning what I will never do and will never become. So thank you very much for teaching me that. Now, did you hear about the time the rabbi, the priest, and the writer walked into a bar? You smile. You don't deny it. You ask it to dinner and ask it to dance and say, look here, everyone. This is our family skeleton. You let it know that you know. Then perhaps you can laugh at it, at yourself, and at the absurdity of it all and of an imperfect family. And move on. And there ends today's reflection. So take out your journal, your napkin pile, or gaze out your reflection window and think about the following reflection question. What family skeletons have I tried to bury? Is it time I dig them up and face and laugh at them? All right, that's it for today, July 24th. I'll be back tomorrow, July 25th, with another reflection. Have a good one, and take care.